Meanwhile, the Nation's report card recently revealing math and reading scores plunged to a record low under President Biden. But according to the First Lady, who celebrated July 4th with the nation's largest teachers union, the NEA, Biden is the solution.
I knew that Joe would always be the education president, because he knows that our nation's, the success of our nation starts with you, the educators who shape our students' lives. And as he transforms, our economy, creating millions of jobs that are shaping the future, he knows that education is key to filling those critical roles.
Our next guest has made education a key GOP agenda. Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin is here at the Jukebox Diner to react. And Governor, thank you for being here.
It's great to be with you. Thanks for being in Virginia and Prince William County. We were all out celebrating the 4th of July yesterday. It was a fabulous day in Virginia. Remember, at the end of the day, we had the voice, Patrick Henry, the pen, Thomas Jefferson, and the sword, George Washington, among all the other founders. And so 4th of July is a big day here in Virginia.
I want to get your reaction to First Lady Joe Biden. But very quickly, you actually, as a young man, started working in diners.
Yeah, I was always at a diner every summer. I started out taking out trash and washing dishes. I was promoted to become the breakfast cook in the morning. So if they need some help back in the kitchen, flipping pancakes and scrambling eggs, I'm up for it.
You hear that, Joe? We got a chef here in case you're short somebody. All right, let's get your reaction to First Lady Joe Biden saying that Joe Biden is America's education president.
Well, I hate to say that I think she may be the only person who believes that. I think the vast majority of Americans believe that Joe Biden has so under-supported and under-prepared our kids for what we're dealing with. I mean, listen, schools were closed for an extended period of time because Joe Biden thought schools should be closed unnecessarily. And now we're seeing a learning loss across the nation that's unprecedented. We've lost decades and decades of progress. And here in Virginia, we, in fact, saw, because of bad policies from progressive liberals from years ago, before the pandemic, and then schools being shut for an unnecessary period of time, Virginia's kids were top of the nation in learning loss. Our fourth graders had the largest learning loss in math and in English. We are working hard to close that gap. It is a huge effort. We need more teachers. We need more specialized help. We have micro grants now for Virginia's kids. We're working hard to reestablish excellence and expectations and give kids the kind of support they need. And it hadn't come from Joe Biden. And I think, again, the vast majority of Americans understand that Joe Biden has not been the education president, but counter. In fact, he's listened so much to the teachers' unions, and the teachers' unions have dictated so much of what's going on that they've forgotten who the kids belong to. Listen, the kids belong to parents, and not to the state, not to politicians. They belong to parents, and this is one of the biggest challenges that we've seen across the nation is who do kids belong to? They belong to parents.
You gave voice to those parents and catapulted you into office. Now we see from the NEA, we can show you some of these books. This is the NEA held their summit, putting out summer reading books to celebrate. You can see here, Gender, Queer, White, Fragility, Milo and Marcos. Parents don't want their kids reading this. Why doesn't the White House get that?
Well, this is the same NEA that counseled Biden to keep schools shut for an extended period of time. And it's the same NEA that said that parents, in fact, were on the verge of being terrorists, showing up at school board meetings. I mean, this is who is recommending what books to read for our kids. It's unprecedented.
Books for the educators, that they should read that.
That they should read as well. I mean, the challenge we've got today is that there have been politicians and bureaucrats and the teachers' associations and unions who believe that they are more important in kids' lives than parents. This is what we stood up for Virginia. This is what spread across the nation. The parents' movement found ground zero right here in Northern Virginia, and it has swept across the nation. This used to be a topic that Republicans ran away from. We're running to it. Because I think Americans and Virginians recognize it is time for parents to be not just at the table, but at the head of the table.
So let me ask you, Governor, if, hypothetically speaking, you were president of the United States, what would you do to rein in the NEA? What needs to be done?
Well, the first thing that needs to be done is a national parents' bill of rights needs to be clearly established so that parents understand what their rights are. And just like we did in Virginia, we passed legislation that allowed parents to decide whether the materials being used in the classroom were appropriate for their family. If not, they can demand a replacement book or part of the curriculum. It allows families to decide what's best. That's what's most important. At the end of the day, we start with parents, we move to children, we incorporated great teaching. This is what education is all about. It is not about the teachers' unions dictating what teachers and kids should be reading in the summertime.
Stephen Cayley, you'll notice the governor didn't correct me when I hypothetically gave him the White House. Is the run still open? A lot of people thinking maybe you could...
Well, it's very humbling to even have this discussion. As I said, I started out flipping flipping pancakes and scrambling eggs in a diner. I'm so focused on Virginia this year. I mean, yesterday I was with a great Senate candidate in Juan Pablo Segura. We marched in a parade in Leesburg. We've got to take our Senate. We've got to hold our House. This is the year in our midterms where we demonstrate that, yes, parents matter, that, yes, we can lower taxes and streamline regulations and see our economy move and grow jobs faster than we ever have in Virginia. We can back the blue. We can make government work more efficiently. This is our chance for all of a sudden a state that was blue just 2 years ago to finish the cycle, electing a Republican governor, lieutenant governor, attorney general, holding our House and flipping our Senate.
Governor Youngkin, so if you take the Senate in November, there will be a clamoring for you to enter the race. Sounds like you're not closing the door, Governor.
Well, as I've said, the most important thing I'm going to do this year is first be a great governor, as best I possibly can be. And I think we're doing a really good job in Virginia. But on top of that, we're going to hold our House, we're going to flip our Senate, and we're going to continue the great work that we've been doing.
You know, Governor, that sounds a lot like what Ron DeSantis said before he started to run. We're gonna get through the legislative session down in Florida, then I'll worry about running for president. And of course, yesterday he was in New Hampshire because he's running for president. I'm sure you saw a couple of weeks ago in Axios, they had a story that said that some powerful Republican donors who do not support Donald Trump are beginning to be concerned about Ron DeSantis because he's not gotten the traction they thought he would and are encouraging you to jump into the race. So we're not asking you if you're going to run for president, but our donors saying, hey, Governor, why don't you get into it?
Well, I so appreciate the fact that people are watching what's happening in Virginia. It's huge encouragement. Listen, just 3 years ago, Virginia was deep blue, and it was 47th in the nation in job recovery coming out of the pandemic. And all of a sudden, with lowering taxes and streamlining regulations and standing up for parents and reestablishing excellence in education, back in the blue, we all of a sudden see Virginia catapult into a top 10 job creation. We see parents all of a sudden exercising their rights in schools. We are doing all of the things that we need to do in order to reestablish Virginia as the best place to live, work, and raise a family. And I love the fact that folks all over the country appreciate it and are encouraging us.
So are donors asking you to run for president?
Well, just by this conversation, which is one that again, I'm humbled by and appreciate. It happens. It's happening frequently.
Just saying.
I keep reminding everybody I am focused on Virginia this year.
And we'll see if the diners encourage it even further, Steve. Right. Governor, thank you so much for being here.
I can't tell you how much I appreciate you guys being in Virginia on the 5th of July, the day after we celebrate the greatest nation that has ever been. And we recognize that all men are created equal and we are endowed with certain unalienable rights. And among those are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Amen to
the
that.
Pursuit of eggs, we'll see how the governor does cooking those eggs as well, guys.
Very nicely done. I wonder if the governor serves them. What kind of a tip do you leave in a diner for the governor?
A good one.
A good one indeed. All right.
Big one.
Governor, thank you very much.